Good evening, everyone. This is Malcolm Peters on the 1st of April. And no, this is not my April Fool's jacket. I quite like it. I think people must be surprised thinking that I'm Bozo the Clown, but that nose couldn't be found
Malcolm
today.
Peters on
So what I'm going to do is, you can hear me in the background there.
jacket.
So let me just clear that out. Welcome to our call. This is the 1st of April, 2018. Isn't it funny? 3 months have already gone past, and it just goes to show how fast time really flies. As you come online, please introduce yourselves, your first names, where you're calling from. And really, tonight's going to be a great call. I just love the guest that I've got online. For those of you watching this call for the first time, my name's Malcolm Peters. I'm calling in from West London, not too far from Heathrow Airport. If you've traveled to London, you'll know where it is. What can I tell you about the weather, basically? It's raining again, but our ducks are very happy. Our ducks are ecstatic normally in this island because it rains every other week. So we're one of the few places where they have a really good time. The call is designed to do three things. It's designed really, first of all, to enable us to reach out to our teams anywhere in the world. We have teams now, I believe, in about 80 countries. We're part of an organization called GPG, Global Partners Group, founded by Paula Pritchard and Kathy Robbins. And also, it's got on board now people like Kerry Dean, Emerald Director. We've got Ruby directors who are on board as well, like Sandy, etc. The call is secondly designed to really help people who are new. I think it's really crucial. New people to come on board, to excite them, to motivate them, to give them information for growth. Because in this business, information is key to growth. You have to learn this because this is a profession, a brand new profession for many people. And third, it's also a great, I suppose, a voyeur tool for us. It's a great thing to say on a call like this, where people who are looking at our business for the first time, maybe a guest that you've got wants to know what we're about, can come on board and have a look at how we have this fantastic fabric of training and support for Global Partners Group. So as you come online, please introduce yourselves, your first names and where you're calling from. We're going to have a great call lined up today. I'm just going to get my screen organized so I can see you all. Welcome to our call. Haralampos calling in from Athens. Great to have you online. Tula, welcome to the call from Cyprus. Leah, welcome to the call. She's actually having a birthday party at the same time from my lovely little friend Elise there. Calling from Rotterdam as well. As you come online, please introduce yourselves, your first names, where you're calling from. We'll get the call started in about a minute's time. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to just talk about some of the things that are coming up shortly. We've got some really great things happening in the month of April. We've got a competition. Most of you may have heard about it, a new bonus system that's come in place. And you know what I like about this company? It's always rewarding people who go out to work. It's always thinking of innovative ways to put money in people's pockets. We've got the GPS system. I'm very proud, very excited that I've got my first JADE qualified GPS qualifier in Jordan. And there's a place where we had problems with products. We've always had customs problems, whatever. But one of my young men there has qualified for his $500 JADE bonus. And it's so important. Every penny counts. Also this month, we've got a 2x2 program that's just come out. So if you're new, go back to the person that invited you to this call. They'll tell you a bit about it. Gives you a chance really to get people motivated, putting money in their pockets, what we call the front end, making sure that they get their investment back and they can see some momentum and some growth as far as cash flow is concerned as well. So as you come online, anybody else who's joined us, we've got Sharita, welcome to the call from Cyprus as well. We're going to get the call started quite quickly. Now, we're waiting for a couple of guests, but I think they got lost in internet land as well. So first thing I'll say to yourself about these Sunday calls, if you're going to have a conversation, I'd rather you ask your questions, or if you've got any points for clarification, you leave them till the end of the call. You're more than welcome to ask those questions. If they're really important, I'll make sure that I spend time to answer your questions. But please don't have sideline conversations. It's extremely distracting for myself as the host and for my speakers as well. Tonight, at the moment, from what I can see, we've got ourselves 4 or 5. Yes, Oliver's asking if the call is on. So if someone knows Oliver, can you tell him, yes, it's on, and the time is 9 o'clock in South Africa or 8 o'clock in South Africa right now. Tonight, I've got online some fantastic guests. These are guests who have speakers who have always joined me on these Sunday calls. And I wanted to share with you what I like about this call. We've got people coming on this call to share experience and knowledge and sharing it freely, so that everybody, regardless of the lines of sponsorship that you're in, can benefit from. And my first guest is a glamorous, wonderful lady. I love her. I love her presentation skills. I really like her whole attitude towards not just our organization, but towards her family and her friends as well. She's always smiling, extremely positive. Her name is Tammy. She's calling in from Canada. And tonight, she's going to talk to you about one of the foundations of this business, the importance of relationships. Tammy from Canada.
Well, thank you very much, Malcolm, for that introduction. I really appreciate it, and I feel very honored to be a speaker, because I love interacting with people. So this topic is very near and dear to my heart. Relationship building, I have discovered myself. I've always been a people person. So that is something that I certainly look for when I'm meeting people. I'm looking for people that at least they are a people person in some way. They want to give back in some way, because I think it's a real important part of our business. But a lot of people do get caught up. You certainly need to be able to look for your prospects when you're building your business through different avenues, whether it be Facebook, we were just having a discussion about that, or regular advertising, word of mouth. But the basis of everything that we do is the relationship, and it's taking it offline and bringing it closer, whether it be over Skype, Facebook, calling, or over the phone, or in person, which is always the best, but not always achievable in a global company. But if you can do it, it's great. Building a team locally is always so important. But I think the biggest thing to remember is that not everybody gets fear over going out in relationship building. They get through, they don't know how to approach people. They don't know what to say to people. And they really get caught up in all the noise, Malcolm. And this is something that I've been reading a lot about. And this is a book that I just started reading. It's called The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. And I love this book. And what it teaches, and I've really grown to love this concept, never thought about it a day in my life before I went through some real challenges in my life during my journey with Janess. And I never ever took the time, Malcolm. I was always so busy in my life that I let noise interfere. I never would focus properly. And focus is everything when you're relationship building. And my husband, Bill, will attest to the fact he was always saying to me, Tammy, sit down, like just take time to smell the roses. And I never did, Malcolm. And it's such a regret to me, because once I started studying being in the now, being present, it changed my whole life, and it's changed my relationships, because breathing, taking the time to breathe, connecting with nature in our world, that solitude, that silence where there's no noise in the brain allows you to see what's going on around you. And I never was seeing what was going on around me. And now not only do I actually think about the things I'm hearing and seeing and how it relates to my life and my journey, I'm also learning things. And I thought learning things was cramming my head full of information and multitasking, and those skills are going to get me ahead and help me. But really, I had to eliminate all that noise and focus. So when you're trying to establish a relationship with someone, whether over Skype or in person or over the phone, I always tell my team, focus. Act as if there is nothing else that you have going on in your life when you're talking to that person. If it's in person, shake their hand, let them know that you're so happy that they took the time to meet with you. I mean, you can limit your time, but they need to know that they are important. Don't look at your text messages. Don't answer your phone. They need and Kathy Robbins told me that. That she tries to not take her phone into a meeting because she wants the person to understand that they're important to her. And a lot of people confuse looking professional and a powerful business person by being busy. So they'll answer their phone or they'll look at that text message because they think that makes them look important. But what it really does is tell the person that they're talking to that they're not important. And what I've learned is to watch the body language. Try and figure out the personality. And Rolando's has talked a lot about this. I haven't delved into it a lot, but I've learned to try. The biggest thing we have to understand in building a relationship is not everyone out there that agrees to meet with you or have a conversation wants what you want. And, I am talking to the new people on the line today, Malcolm, but I'm also talking to our what I'll call our mastermind panel here as well. is that, you know, we connect because we are after something that maybe some people that we're meeting have no interest in. I want to be a diamond. I know I'm going to be a diamond. That's what I'm headed for. Some people, they may have a void in their life for being social. And if you don't learn about that person, you will never know what it is they're actually after or how you can help them get that. Because it's a bunch of people doing a little bit that actually means the most in your business. And, you know, Teresa Gregory says it all the time. You'll only meet 2 or 3 people in your career that will help take you to diamond if that's where you want to go. So really important with the relationship is giving that focus. But in saying that, we have to understand that and I've said this before on your call, Malcolm, and I live my life by this. We have to work with the people who deserve it, not who need it. And I struggled so long, and I've heard Paula say so many times, you know, 18 months and she needed to get a new team. And, you know, when you're a good person and you've got a good heart, and I know all the hearts of the people on this call, we've all been there. You want it so bad for somebody and you believe in them, but if they don't want it for themselves, you can't help them. You can mentor somebody, you can make a difference in somebody's life, but in the end, you can't be their boss or try and manage them. People want to be led. They want a leader. They will go with you because they believe in you and they believe in your cause. And that's why they will follow you. They don't want to be boss. They want to be led. People are very dissatisfied with their jobs. So it's just really important that you've got to roll up your sleeves and get down there with your team at their level. And in order to be at their level and know what their next steps are, you have to know what they want and match their goals to it. So that's one thing I wanted to talk about. But living in the moment, it's very interesting if you're focusing on living in the moment, because Tony Robbins says that it's at the moment, when you're living in the moment, it's the moments of decision that we make that shape our destiny. That's not just for us. If we live in the moment when we're actually listening and hearing what somebody wants out of their life, we can help shape their destinies as well. Because if you don't pick it up, you might lead them down the wrong path. They're going to go, you know? So that's just really important. But what we're all trying to achieve out of relationship building are a few things: trust, respect, and you're building a team really with that person. And whether you build an organization is a different thing. But when you get to know somebody, before you can ever become a team, those things have to fall into place. You have to learn to trust them. You have to learn to respect them. And that's through your morals, your ethics. I'm always looking for somebody. Those are 2 categories that I'm looking for in somebody, is that they have the same ethics and morals as me. They do not have to have the same skill set as me, because we want to look for people who can fill in all the gaps on what we don't excel at. But when you establish trust and respect in a relationship, beautiful, beautiful magic happens. And I'll tell you, you know, I talk about my sponsor all the time, who happens to be one of my closest friends in life. She's on this call. And we have grown on this journey together. And I'll tell you, Malcolm, what we do have in common is a passion and a belief in helping other people. And this is just a platform. It's a vehicle we've found that we can put ourselves behind. But the relationship we've built in mentoring and finding out what each other wants and having the same goals is that we're on the same vibration now. And I'll tell you, so many times over the last year, I tell Colleen, as she's my witness, get out of my head. I can't believe she'll call me the next morning when I think something at night, and it falls in line. But where trust is concerned, I'll give you an example. She knows that I want to be mentored, that I'm growing myself. So she'll see something that connects with her. And she did this recently. She sent me a video and she said, watch this. I just can't believe this. You got to watch this video. And I watched it. And I texted her back. I said, that was awesome. I learned so much from that couple. And I said, but I've got to think on it overnight about what it means. There's a couple of things they said, I got to think about it. And the next morning, what it brought to me, Malcolm, it helped me overcome an obstacle. I was stuck and I found the solution. And I trusted her enough to know she sent me something that was going to help me get to where I was going. And it did. And that's the beauty of a team, of building a team of trust. It helps you overcome those obstacles. You've got to create that mastermind team, right? I'm sorry, am I cutting out, Malcolm?
No, it's okay. I was saying that you've got a minute left. We've got a minute left. Okay. That's what
I got a minute. So I want to end this with a couple of things, Malcolm. We've all, many of us have, in living in the moment, I can't stress this enough in relationship building and listening to all the lessons. I don't think things don't happen for a reason in life. I think every time we meet somebody, and the more we do it, the more we learn, the more we grow, whether they're good interactions or bad interactions. It all means something, and we don't have to know what it means now. It might mean something later, but live in the moment. But we've forgotten that enthusiasm that small children have. And I'm reliving this right now through my granddaughter. Colleen's my witness. She cracks me up. But they're seeing everything with eyes that we seem to have left behind. They're seeing the world so differently. And I think we all can learn from that, maybe doing a little bit of dancing in the rain and showing that enthusiasm and those wow moments, you know, we need to discover that. So I urge everybody to be around a small child, to learn what it is they might be lacking that people will be attracted to when you're relationship building. And I've got my daughter has a horse trainer. This was the other thing I wanted to mention. Mentoring. Again, I believe everything happens for a reason. We've built a relationship with a man who's had a stroke 5 years ago and has limited use to the one side of his body. And he was a very, very sought after international horse trainer. And he has seen something in my daughter and has agreed to give her personal lessons, which he's not doing for anybody else. And I am in amazement in living in the moment watching that, because he talks about the horse and the rider as a team and building respect and doing it without forcing the bit in their mouth, doing it with your movements, your gestures, and your breathing. And he says, don't feel like I would be disappointed if you make a mistake. He said, because that is good. That's how we learn. That's how we grow. And it's not all the fancy things that you could do that I'm interested in. He said, it's all the moments that nobody sees, all the little things that you do behind the scenes that give that outcome. It's not about the big show. It's about what we all do to help one another get to where we're going, those struggles, those pains, and those relationships. So Malcolm, I'll hand it back to you. And we can't always do one certain thing in life with greatness, but we can do a lot of small things with great love. Mother Teresa, right? Absolutely. And if we don't have the relationships, we'll never experience that. So we can't judge us or assume anything. Be open-minded, because you just never know who you're going to meet.
Great. Thank you very much for that. You know, there's several things that you've mentioned there, and I just want to cover them if I can, because I think sometimes people forget what our job is. We're actually in something called relationship marketing. That's what they call it now, because when you say network marketing, straight away the bozo and the moron thinks it's pyramid selling and all this kind of stuff. So people change it to relationship marketing, but this really is a business about building relationships, as Tammy says. And I think these are key things that you should write down about what we need to do. Building your operation and your business, and I'm talking from experience right now. I've had large groups grow, and just like Paula, we've had large groups collapse, and we go out and we build again. But to hold a group together, and great examples are some of my speakers coming up later on, like Rolandos and Andriani. You've got to have these following things with relationships. First of all, you've got to form a good relationship with the people in your team. This business is a 3 to 5 year business. You really need to tell people that from the first time that you talk to them. This is not a 3 to 5 week business, not a 3 to 5 month business. It's a 3 to 5 year business. If people stay with this business for 3 to 5 years, their life is radically going to change. In fact, statistics show us that anybody who stays with a network marketing program for 10 years, anybody who does it, 90% of the people that do that become millionaires. You see, the strange thing is, for 40 years, they'll stay in a job with the jackass of the boss. You've heard this before, just over broke, waiting for a pension. These are things that hold the whole group together, is building up relationships. The relationships that you form with these people are going to share time with you at events, walk the beaches of the world with you. Here are some of the cement ingredients that hold this relationship of your team together. Number one is recognition. Every time someone does something that is worthy of recognition, you've got to recognize them quickly. Yesterday, as you all saw, I recognized Mohammed straight away. As soon as I found out he's got his qualification, we were sure he's got the money, everything was fine, I did that. Number two, edification. What does edification mean? It means talk good about your upline and talk good about your downline. Talk good about the people that are helping you. That's absolutely crucial. Number three, to hold your teams together, part of the relationship building is make sure that you're training people properly or allowing them access to the right tools and the right training as well. You need to have a system. That's another part of it. Relationship building is all about getting trust. People like to do business with people that they like, trust, and they respect. And I'm going to give you some more tips. You heard on that call that, sometimes we want to do so much for people that we forget we want to be working with the people that respect us and actually want to walk with us. I have learned my lessons the hard way. I spent over 3,600 euros buying people founders packs. I never got $1 back. I've spent hundreds of dollars traveling backwards and forwards to a country where people don't have enough respect to welcome my time and to find out and say to me that, Malcolm, thank you very much for coming over. I'm saying that because relationships are long-term goals. Sorry, I'm just being distracted by someone who's trying to text me at the moment. Relationships are an important part of our business, and we'll have enough time to talk about this on another call. I want to move on to my next guest. I'm so sorry about that. I got distracted by someone who's desperately trying to get my attention at the moment. I hate the idea of being on a live call when that's going on. So I think it's important what you've covered there. My next guest is going to talk. It's Colleen Ferguson. In fact, is the sponsor of Tammy that you've just seen online, and she's going to be talking to you about business plan with a vision. Colleen is a Sapphire Elite. She's building a gigantic team in India at this moment in time, and she's going to talk to you about business plan with a vision. I can't wait to hear what she's got to say. Over to you, Colleen, calling in from Canada.
Well, thank you, Malcolm. Can you hear me okay?
Perfectly.
Okay, good. I'm having some internet challenges today, so hopefully this whole call goes through. Tammy, that was amazing. I love inspiration, and that's usually what I like to talk about on the calls. But today I decided to pull back my roots, which is business, and talk a little bit more about business planning, but having a vision and making sure that, like Malcolm just said, this is not a 1 to 2 year business. This is a long-term business. Like he said, do it for 10 years, and it's almost impossible to not succeed unless you do nothing. We'll actually talk about a little bit of statistics. My husband and I just got back from Florida. We went to one of his company's conventions, and they always have these incredible speakers at these conventions that he goes to. And the speaker, one thing that he talked about that just really, really hit home for me, we all know the future of economics and things like that is poor. But this speaker, who's a professional economist, he said that in the year 2030, we are headed for a Great Depression, not a recession, a Great Depression. And this is where I think people forget to realize that the opportunity we actually have here is something we can offer to help so many people if they just learn how to do this business and stick with it and follow all the inspiration Tammy just shared. But I want to just give you some statistics. I don't know if you've watched Eric Worre's movie, The Rise of the Entrepreneur, but a lot of these quotes and statistics are coming from that, and I think people should take them very seriously. They mention in there that for the first time in history, our children will not do as well as we did. So that's pretty scary. They actually talk about the average university grad that comes out of school used to make, I think it was in the year 2000, they were making about $65,000 a year. And then in the year 2011, they're only making about $54,000 in the year. So it's pretty scary times that we really have to take serious and look at and figure out how we can overcome this. A Great Depression coming is pretty scary if you ask me. People are completely overworked and underpaid, and they have much less time for freedom and time to spend with their families. I mean, 25% of retail stores are closing everywhere. I mean, we're seeing that over and over and over and over. Monday mornings, they say that the heart attack rates increased by 35%. But what does that tell you? People hate their jobs. They hate to go to work the next day. It's usually because they don't like their boss or the people they work with. It's not always their job. But even if your boss loves you, he may have to fire you. I mean, that's just the way the world is going. And the average person ends their life at age 65, and they usually have about $40,000 to their name in assets. That's pretty scary. So 70% of Americans would love to own their own business if they knew how. Another really good statistic is restaurant owners, 90% of restaurant owners fail in the first year. So, and it's just getting worse and worse as time goes on. But with network marketing, I mean, I own my own bridal shop for 10 years. I know exactly what it's like to be on both sides of this fence. And in network marketing, you do not have to create the products. You don't have to create the system. You don't have to do the advertising. Janesse does all that for you. The trainings here with the GPG, you have no overhead, there's no employees. I mean, it just doesn't even make sense not to look at this industry. And you compare it to what you could be doing working for someone else, like Malcolm said, working for some, I won't repeat it, but you can use that word, but working for people you don't like or a boss you don't like, that's your alternative. So to me, I would much rather be an entrepreneur and be independent and have your own business and help other people do well as well. So the money part I want to talk about, whenever you own a business, you have to have a business plan of some sort. But in this industry, you have to have a business plan with vision. You cannot, it's not the same as traditional businesses, but it is, if that makes sense. So you have to write down what your investment was in this business. First of all, that's the first thing you do. When I started my bridal shop, I wrote down all the money I was going to invest and how am I getting that back. That is something that you should do with this. It's just almost a joke to compare the two. Because when I started my bridal shop, my investment was $180,000, and that allowed me to buy all my stock and renovate my building and have enough money in the bank to pay my employees while I grew a clientele base, which is pretty much what you're doing here. Except for here, my investment was $1,200 with Janesse, because of course I started with the ambassador pack. But then you have to look at your, what do you pay monthly? You're paying, in Canada anyway, we pay about $115 a month for our smart delivery to stay in business. Now I know smart delivery is optional, but I just think it's called smart delivery because you'd be smart to be on it. Everybody should be on smart delivery. Just you don't have to worry about any of your losing your points or not getting your matching bonuses. Just everybody should be on smart delivery. So if you add that up, that's $1,260 a year. I'm talking Canadian dollars. So your first year cost is $2,760 for your first year in business. How crazy is that? My bridal shop was $180,000. And then after your first year, you've done with your first your investment to start, and now you're just looking at your monthly costs, which is again adds up to $1,260 for the year. My bridal shop cost me $12,000 a month to stay in business. So I think those are really important numbers to look at. And then you have to look at, like Tammy said, not everybody wants to be a diamond, and that's okay. What I want to talk to you about today, a little bit of numbers, and I know this is kind of a gray area we shouldn't talk about, but I'm going to because Malcolm said I could. But even if you don't want to be a diamond, and that's fine, there's lots of people that don't. They just want to be part of the community. You can earn a considerable amount of money just having someone in your team that does want to go to emerald and ruby and diamond. And I'm just not sure people understand what those numbers are. So I want to just cover them quickly if I can, Malcolm. And of course, I have to give a little disclaimer that not all these numbers are exactly what every single person will earn, but we're just going to look at the numbers in cycles if somebody was an elite, a ruby, an emerald, or a diamond, and what that would mean to you if you had someone in your team that was an elite, a ruby, an emerald, or a diamond. So we know to be an elite, you have to cycle 100 times in a month, which is $2,500 a month. That equals $42,000 a year, US, okay? So that's an elite when they hit elite. Ruby is $7,000 a month, which is $84,000 a year, US. Emerald, this is one stream of income. I've got to stress that. This is just your cycle commissions. This does not include your matching bonuses on your downline and your sign-up bonuses, and also any you sell product wholesale retail. So Emeralds is $17,500 a month, which is $210,000 a year, and a diamond is $35,000 a month, which is $420,000 a year. Now, if you had one elite on your front line, and of course you're maxing out the compensation plan with 30%, off of one elite, you're going to earn $1,050 a month off of their cycle bonuses. That is $12,060 a year. Now just go backwards to what I told you, what your yearly cost is to be in this company, to just stay in business is to just under $2,600. Now, what if you had a Ruby on your front line and you're earning your max of 30%? You're looking at $2,100 a month US, which is $25,200 a year. If you had an Emerald, $5,250 a month you're going to earn off of their efforts, which is $63,000 a year. And what if you had a diamond in your team? What do you think? What do you think Teresa Gregory thinks of having Paula Pritchard on her front line? $10,500 a month, which is $126,000 a year US, which in Canada is like $163,000 a year. Now that is once you've developed your team to the point that they are successful, which is why we get a matching bonus. Your job is to help your team be successful. And once you do that and they start to see success, that's when you get rewarded for that. But this is a long-term vision and belief program. You must always have the vision of that in the future. It will be your future if you never, ever let go of the vision and the belief. The only people that don't make it in this business are the ones that lose that belief somehow. For me, what I believe, this is a real roller coaster business. When you hear this, you're all excited and you're inspired and you're like, hey, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it. You go to an event, you're inspired, and then you start to slide back down. That is when you must fill your brain with other people who are successful. Whether it doesn't even have to be in this industry. I follow anybody that's successful. Even a successful athlete to me is amazing. The strength of a human being, the things that humans can do is beyond what most people, I think, really truly understand. So when you have those down moments, think about people that say, oh, you can't do it. Well, think about people like the Wright brothers. I mean, they believed they could fly an airplane and nobody else believed they could, but they did. So these are the types of things you have to hold on to when you start to lose your belief. Remember these numbers, and they're not exact. They're, these are just sort of, they're pretty close, but they're not exact. They could be higher and they could be lower. But the fact is they're real and it is possible. And anybody can do it. Anybody. So with that, Malcolm, back to you. I hope that wasn't too mundane talking about numbers.
No, in fact, I'm going to spend a few moments on it. Earlier on, before I bring my other guests on, Tammy had said about things, etc., etc. You should write this down. If you're positive thinking and you're on a mission, you're going to go somewhere. Remember, success is not a destination. Oh, I've got here, I'm successful now. I can't say, well, I'm an emerald, I'm successful now. Emerald ships can go up, they go down. That's the way it is. It's a journey. And really, I always say things don't just happen. Things happen just. So if your mindset is right, you're surrounded by the right kind of people, and you know where you're going to like where you end up. I think those figures are fantastic, and I'm going to go through them again. What basically was told on this call, was talked to you all about on this call by Colleen, was this. So you're someone at the moment who's humming and hawing, and you're not too sure, and you're moaning and griping about an order being late, or someone made a mistake, signing someone left or someone right. All this nonsense you're talking about, you're completely forgetting that actually this is a very powerful business. So I'm going to ask you all a question. I want you to think about this. I go out and I recruit Tammy into my business. and I recruit Colleen into my business. And I sit around, and for whatever reason, I go jade. And at that point, I'm messing around, and I've got things to do, and I'm really not taking that much of an interest. I'm not doing what I should be doing. Leadership is know the way, go the way, and show the way. Tammy was saying earlier, people are looking up to you to what you do, but I believe people are watching you. You can't tell people to go pearl unless you go pearl yourself. You can't sit there in an ivory tower with a little pin on telling people to go out and recruit if you haven't recruited anybody for the last 10 months. But here's the magic of this plan. If I went out and in my early days, in my enthusiasm, I recruited Tammy and I recruited Colleen in my business, and they are fired up girls. They work together. They're really fired up. They've got it, and they start running. And both of these ladies went Sapphire Elite at some point in the future. And I was still a jade. At the worst, because I'm a bit lazy and I'm not working towards my 30%, at 20%, I would earn $8,400 per year as a commission from each one of them. That's $16,800. Write that down. Now, the first question I have for you is this. If you're in the jackass of a boss situation, just over broke at the end of every single month in a job, you go out and ask your boss and say, you know, you like me, I like you, blah, blah, blah. You wear your best vest and your best shirt. I said, can I have a pay rise, please, of $8,400 because I think I deserve it? In the best Spanish, Cypriot, English, or American, he will tell you what to go and do with that question. I think that's what he would do. You know, if you go in there with a big smile and say, no, I think I deserve an $8,400 pay rise, he's going to tell you exactly what to do with it. And if you're smoking, he's going to tell you where to put your cigarette. Look at the Ruby situation he's talking about. I start working with someone and I get on board, someone else on board, and I get these three wonderful ladies. Now, Andrea has joined my team and they go to work. And one of those three, any one of those three becomes a Ruby. I'm still Jade. Yalla merchant, sitting over there with my hands back, telling everyone what to do, phoning people up, how are you, my team, blah, blah, the normal nonsense we have in this business. She goes out and she becomes a Ruby. You start earning, I want you to listen to this, $25,000 if you're actually qualified for your 30% and $17,200 passive income for just finding a person who sees the vision and runs with it. What if it took 5 years? What if it took 5 years for one of those girls to go Ruby? Would that be worth it? Now go and ask your boss, hey, you know, I've got a really nice vest on. Can I have $17,200 pay rise? And I think he'll throw a machete at you or something like that. What about if one of those people goes emerald? Emerald, doesn't matter. And also I want you to, this is so brilliant. Actually, I want to make a spreadsheet of this. I'm so glad you brought this up because people don't understand any of this. They don't understand any of this. If you found yourself an emerald 3 levels down, you're going to earn a lot of money. 5 levels down, a lot of money. People don't understand it because they're all trying to show people this little plan with a binary and stuff like that. We're talking about 63,000 passive income per year because you went and shared an opportunity with someone who had a bigger dream than yours, who believed in this more than you did and worked harder for it as well. You opened the door and they are going to make you wealthy. You're becoming wealthy by helping them become wealthy. They're making themselves $210,000 a year at the worst, and it's a passive income because you're a yalla merchant, as they say in Jordan, $42,000 a year. Which one of you in Jordan knows anybody getting a $42,000 a year pension? Which one of you? Which one of you on this call right now knows anything where you go out and you help someone to get a better life, get $42,000 a year pension? Which one of you knows that? Just for showing them a business? Just for sharing them with a plan? Showing them with a product? And you're afraid of talking to people? What about if you find a diamond? What if you go and you recruit 35 people? What if you do what Malcolm's going to do? Brings 200 people in 5 years. And in 10 years, he finds one of them who becomes a diamond. Malcolm's tired now. His gray hair really is showing, and his belly now looks like melting fat. You know, instead of like a figure like this, it's like melting butter. He can sit on a beach with someone who's a lot younger than him, picking up $84,000 a year pension in Pattaya Beach in Thailand. That's not a bad amount of money for a man like me. Let me tell you, and I want to look great when I'm 65 and 70 years old. So I can tell you that. I think that's really, really important. We talked about 2 things before I bring my other guests on. The call just got started, get warmed up. This is what this is about. It's about relationships, going out there and sharing this with everybody. You're not God. You can't say, I think they're going to do well. I really think I'm going to write them on my list. Oh, that one's a street. Oh, he makes juice. I can't talk to him because he's just a juice salesman. You're stupid. You know, the person who's online, he knows exactly who's my brother. You mustn't do that. You can't prejudge. If he goes out and he finds someone below him who goes to work with this, becomes a Sapphire Elite, you're making passive income. Has all of you forgotten what this is? It's passive income. Planting the seeds. And I want you to write this down. It's not how many seeds are in an apple. It's how many apple trees there are in one seed. That's what this business is about. How many? By finding one. And in every case in Holland, I found one woman who did nothing with this business. Bankrupt, broke, whatever. She did the first meeting, we found 6 people. She went out and put all of them, we taught them to go on Facebook. They started building it. 1,200 people came into my team in 3 months. When Ruby? 4,000. Oh, Malcolm, the team's gone. Who cares? I made $260,000 out of it. Am I complaining? You can buy some nice vests. Let me bring you on to my next guest. And I hope he's there right now. I sometimes, that's why I've got no hair, because I pull it all out. We are going around talking to people about putting $200 into a business that can change their life, or $1,200, and they are worried about the investment required. You don't want people like this in your business. You want to find all those people that Amazon is killing right now. They've had their lives taken. You've got people like Colleen, $180,000 for a bridal shop. They don't care about $1,200. It's cheap. Right thinking, the right people. And the way to do that is to find them by talking to as many people as you can. My next guest is a master of this. He's unbelievable. And he really is a bit of a fire starter. He's not afraid of talking to God himself. If you get his number, but I believe he's busy. It's Friday today. And it's one of those days when everyone's calling on him right now. So, today's not the day for it. But this particular gentleman is amazing. If he's online right now, he's going to share with you the power of the 3-way call and getting people excited about getting onto a 3-way call. If he's there right now, Ruby Director calling in from South Africa. We've got Oliver. Oliver, you're online.
Can you hear me, Malcolm?
Certainly can, sir.
Okay, I'm going to turn on my video, but if it gets bad, then I'll turn my video off.
If you have all your clothes on, you can do what you want.
Okay, cool. Let's see. Okay, so this looks like it's working. Hey, everyone. Thanks so much for putting on this call again, Malcolm. It's awesome. We really appreciate it. And great contribution there. Colleen, Hayden, everyone, just great stuff. It's always good to be on these calls. So, I think a lot of people sometimes think, when people are rubies or whatever, they think, they got something I don't. They've got a skill set I don't. I can't go ruby. But what they don't know is, if you heard the call last Sunday about my story when I actually started calling at my grand's house, and I didn't even have money for airtime on a phone. I was completely broke, and I was using her phone bill without my uncle knowing. So it was, it wasn't exactly the story most people think it was. And then everyone also thinks, oh, well, he's just a natural recruiter, and he can just talk to everyone. I'm like, no, that's not the case. I was dead set nervous and didn't even get one person into my business in my first company. I spoke to tons of people, and I really just didn't get anything right until I started shadowing my upline and started reading GoPro and actually becoming a professional, right? And moving from amateur to professional. And the best way to become a pro is to imitate one, and is to spend time and surround yourself with professionals, right? And this is an opportunity for you to do that tonight. Tonight you're on a call and you're listening to people that are making it in this business, and hence you're actually upgrading your skill set and your mindset. So it's never the business, it's the entrepreneur in the business. So just remember, if your business is not working, it's you. It's nothing else. It's you person. End of story. There's nothing else after that. Anything else after that is a story that you're telling yourself. It could be a great story, but I always tell people it's still a story. And you just have to get to that place where you reach one acceptance. And from that place of acceptance, okay, cool, this is where I'm at. I'm not really good at this moment in time. So what can I do? And for everyone that doesn't know, I absolutely leveraged my upline 100% when I started Jeunesse. So people think, oh, he went Sapphire in his first month on his own. Not true at all. All I did was live by this one line. Say as little as possible to as many people as possible and put them in front of the money man. That's all I did. I didn't have a story, so I told a story. So if you don't have a story, tell somebody else's story. You don't need to use your story. While you're creating your story, leverage someone's story in your upline, right? And if that's not your direct upline, my direct upline disappeared, left me on the inside of an inside with zero, nothing, right? And I could have quit. Most people would have probably quit. They would have said, screw this. You know, I'm in a dead position here. I have nothing coming up from above. I have every reason to walk away. But luckily, there was Paula in the upline and Neil Ferry. And between those two, I reached out to them and I said, listen, guys, will you help me? And Neil, you know, has a great energy. And he said to me, can you put people on three-way calls with me? And I said, sure. And I think that's something that I have that a lot of people maybe don't. And that's just that tenacity. And like that guy gave me an opportunity. And when I saw that he had built, you know, a previous network company to this amount, and he was already on his way to Emerald in Jeunesse or whatever the case was, I knew he was already a successful network marketer. He had lived in South Africa, which means he could relate to people in this market. You know, whatever the case was, it's easy to edify somebody else. But when you talk about how good you are, people don't really listen to you as much as when you tell them how good somebody else is. It's a lot easier to edify someone else than it is to edify yourself. So I basically called people all day, and I was literally just piquing interest with the GoPro script. I had a very high sense of urgency. I would phone people and say, listen, I don't have a long time to chat, but you know, I just wanted to call to catch up and see how you're doing and let you know what I'm doing. How's business? So I immediately asked them how's business to shift the tone of the conversation to business, listen to what they had to say. And then I said, listen, by the way, whatever you can say, shot in the dark, I'm in the process of expanding $1 billion company into Africa. And I'm working with an incredible business partner of mine. You know, he's in Malaysia, and, you know, he's made 7 figures in this business before. He's an absolute professional. If I could send you a short link and it interested you, would you be interested in then getting on a call with this guy? And everyone said yes. So really your only goal when you're speaking to people, I realized, was to get them to watch a short video. That was my only goal. How I did that was the art. If you're trying to explain the business on the phone, tell them the name of the company, explain all the products, you're already down the wrong road. I don't have long to chat. I've only got a couple minutes. So I'm going to send you a quick video, and then I'll give you a call tomorrow morning between 8 and 10. Does that sound good? Yes. Great. And then on the second call, I set up the 3-way call. And usually those are people that are, you know, I use the GoPro script. I say on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being really interested, where would you place yourself? If they're 7 or more, I put them on a 3-way call with my upline. If they're not 7 or more, I say, well, what information can I send you to get you a 7? Maybe they're not even interested. That's fine. I don't even want to waste my upline's time. I'm on to the next person. And I'm just doing this every day from 8 in the morning until freaking 2 and 12 at night when I was running for Sapphire. And I hit it. I hit the Sapphire bonus, and I made over $10,000 in my first 30 days in this business. So, you know, it can be done. But then the next month I dropped, and my income obviously dropped because I didn't win the bonus and stuff. But I slacked off a bit, and then I had to pick it up again, and I did another 30-day run, and that was when I found Impo and everyone. So really, this business is built in cycles. But what I'm saying is you can leverage your upline, and you can get them tell their story, and they can literally help you build your business. You know, you've got amazing leaders in GPG that would all be willing to do a 3-way call with you, even cross-line, people that aren't even in your direct upline. That's our culture. We have an amazing culture. If I ask Malcolm, can you help me with the 3-way call? Malcolm will say yes. You know, if anyone in GPG asked somebody in South Africa, they've got somebody here that they would like to meet for them at a meeting, we would meet them. But, and this is the difference, is most people would not make that effort to leverage their upline the way I did. I made Neil work like a slave for me. He literally, I said to him every day between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m., I want you to block out that those are full. I guarantee you will have people on and you'll be busy from 10 to 12, Monday to Friday, every week. I want you to commit to giving me that time. And in exchange, I will guarantee you that people will jump on Skype calls. And I had 1, 2, 3, 4 people on per call. Sometimes I had 20 people a day on 3-way calls with this guy. And he would close, I would say 50% of them. So literally every 2 people that I put on a 3-way call, 1 would join every time. And all I would do is say to the person, here's the link. Tomorrow, 10 to 10:30, I've got a slot available. And I would book that in. I would make a note of it. And now I would keep making calls to set up the next slot between 10:30 and 11. Then I would fill 11 to 11:30. Then I'd fill 11:30 to 12. And if somebody resonated and they were both kind of positive, similar fields of interest, I'd put them both on the same 3-way call. So I would have 2 engineers. Cool. These are guys on the same industry. Let me leverage my upline's time by putting both of them on 1 call instead of trying to do 2 separate calls. How can I get the most leverage for his time? Because I've only got him for 2 hours. I want to maximize his time, right? So that's all I did. I just sent people a video. When's the soonest you can look at it by? Schedule the follow-up call. Ask them on a scale of 1 to 10, how interested are you? If they sounded interested, I said, great. You know, I've got my upline is a very successful, edified the hell out of the person, scheduled the call for the next day. Then when I actually get onto the 3-way call, I would always start by introducing the 2 people. So say, Neil, this is John, my friend. John, you know, Neil, as I've told you, is a very successful businessman. He lives in Malaysia. He used to live in South Africa. He built a 7-figure business, you know, and so obviously John now is like, wow, you know, this guy's quite successful. I've edified him. And all I do is I say, Neil, meet John. And I mute myself and I say nothing for the whole time. I literally just shut up and listen. I'm not the expert. Neil's the expert. I'm just listening. And what happens is Neil goes and speaks to him, etc. He does what he does. And by the end of the call, Neil says, well, great. I'm going to leave the call now and I'm going to let Oliver get you started. This is the package I advise, etc., etc., etc. And Neil jumps off the call and literally, I would say 50% of them, I sign them up straight away on the call directly after that 3-way call. I would say, great. I share my screen. I'm like, let's get you started. It's called the assumptive close. I'm assuming that they're in. I don't ask the question, so would you like to join? I don't ask the question, so can I please sign you up? It's like, why wouldn't you want to join? Are you like, this is amazing. So I'm assuming that they're in. And I find that helps because you have posture when you assume somebody is going to join. Whereas if you say, oh, would you please join? You've lost all your posture. You've lost it. But if you just use that assumptive close, now one of 2 things can happen. They're either going to join, which is great, or they're going to say, okay, cool. Well, and you're going to get the objection. And then you need to overcome the objection. But if you ask for the business, I always believe you're on the back foot. You've got to be confident. You've got to be, you know, and just say to them, listen, cool, you chatted to Neil, let's get you started. And then I literally just say to them, cool, let's go to the website, da, 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 da. And if an objection comes up, I address it. But if there isn't an objection, smooth sailing, and we just get them signed up. So what you basically need to understand is if you're not a sapphire right now, and you're struggling to bring in 1 person a week into your business or more, you need to be bringing in at least 1 a week, I would say, especially if you're not a sapphire. If you're not doing that, then you need to start leveraging your upline support. You have to. So find out who's a closer in your upline, and you find out when they're available. And the way that your upline will respect you and actually make time for you is if you show them consistency and you bring people on calls for them. If somebody brings people on calls every day for me, I will make time because I know this person's serious. You know, in the beginning, Neil wouldn't give me 10 to 12, but when he saw that I was contacting him and saying, listen, I got a 3-way call, I got a 3-way call, I got a 3-way call, he realized I was a runner. And I was somebody who was going to bring in a lot of people. And he said, cool. And that's why he made the time for me from 8 to 10. But don't expect your upline to sacrifice all of their time if you're not willing to put in the work on your side. And it's amazing because you can leverage their time, and all you're doing is sending information and setting up a call. And a lot of people are just, the reality is they're just too lazy to do it. That's the truth. They're just too lazy to do it. You've got to be willing to do that to get yourself to a level where you now have a story. And now you can go and tell your story. But if you don't have a story and you're trying to build a business, it's pretty difficult. I would never listen to somebody who had never made any money in network marketing and try to sign me up. I just wouldn't. Not somebody that was on my level at that time. The only reason I joined is because of Peter Sage, who was somebody who I really respected. So if you put me on a three-way call with someone more successful than me, there's a good chance I might join your business. But if you're somebody who's never even made a dime, you don't even make that much money in your industry, you've never been successful, why would I join your business? So just start to think about that. You need to leverage people in your upline that are on a peer level, equal peer level, or above the person that you're putting them on the call with. If you can do that, then you'll start to build your business very quickly. And I think in general, GPG needs to start creating a culture where we do a lot more three-way calls. We really do. So, yeah.
Okay, Oliver, thank you very, very much for that. I'm going to add a few things if I can, because I think it's important so people don't get lost. We have to use every resource and every tool that we've got. And as Oliver says, if you've got someone that you can reach out to who is a good closer, who can tell a great story, who is known to be able to, in 30 minutes, 35 minutes, 40 minutes, talk to someone, share information, and bring them in, you should do that. But I will say this on this call, that is not the easiest way to duplicate. And I think it's important that people understand that. You need to put people in front of people who know how to do that job. So find those people. Can I also add that, you know, there's this thing in people's minds, and we're always going to have this huge conflict about recruiting wide and building deep. I think it should be a balance. If you haven't got anyone that you can put in front of your upline, reach downline from you. I call it swarming. So, for example, I bring Andriani on board. She's very, very good. I've got Colleen, Andriani, and Tammy, and Oliver in my team. I'm going to be phoning them up, say, hey, have you got someone I can talk to? And they say, yes, I have. I want to talk to that person. Or if they've got a very hot person, I can talk to Andriani and say, Andriani, who's this person? Let me deal with them. She tells that person about me, and I put them forward to Paula Pritchard. So suddenly this person on the phone can think, wow, this is a real team working together. I think it's important. We can't cover that on this call right now, but I think the input that Oliver's given us is very powerful. And like he said, you know, he's built this business, became Sapphire very quickly. He's made a lot of money. He's a Ruby director in this business. He's not even hit the age of 30 from what I've gathered. So, and he's single as well. So that's a great, great asset on his part. So let me now take you on to my next guest. And as we start winding up towards the end of our call, my next guest is someone I have incredible, incredible love for and respect for. She's someone who's been on this call now, supporting it, I believe, for nearly 2 years now. Almost every Sunday or every other Sunday, she's here with her partner. She has grown tremendously in this business. She's one of probably the best trainers that we've got as far as social media, marketing is concerned. I'd like you to get pen and paper and to take notes. My next guest, fantastic, fantastic lady. Sapphire, I believe she's going to very, very quickly get to Elite and move her way to Ruby with the way she's going right now. Andriani calling in from Nicosia in Cyprus with a great subject, Smash the Mirror.
Good evening, Malcolm. Once again, what an awesome call tonight. And I want to share a story with you. We wanted to go up to the mountains and spend the weekend there to relax. So we got into the internet, Google, and we found this beautiful traditional hotel in the mountains, in the nature, which had the option, if you want to have a horse riding, to go to wine tasting experience, to have olive oil production experience. So we decided a spa. So we decided to book there. The pictures were awesome. The website, we are so professional. So we are so excited, and we are ready to go to our experience in the nature. When we arrived there, the girl in the reception had no idea about horse ridings or any other sports or any other things to do. The only thing she said to us was, you are on your own. We have these things in the area, but we are not responsible for that. So I went to the room and I was telling to myself, okay, we have free Wi-Fi. I'll do my things, my ads and everything online. When I realized that they advertise free Wi-Fi, but they forget to put free of Wi-Fi. So the expectation we had was really high because they advertise those expectations. They advertise so high. They set up the tone too high. And here comes does your marketing mirror your brand experience? And let's see the difference. Brand experience, your personal brand, is the way your customers or your team members feel about you, feel about your brand, feel about your products, your trainings, your support, about you in general, the feeling you give to the people. It's like when, I'll give an example, Rolando's, we expect a lot from him because he gave us a lot about his trainings and everything. So we're expecting that from him. It starts from the moment that a person finds you on the web, finds your website, finds your social media accounts. It's the way you communicate with the people, the aesthetic you give outside, your way you're dressing, everything. It's a box in there, and everything is in there, and this is how you build the right brand experience. You need to control any situation in your business, in your brand. I know that it's difficult sometimes because we don't control everything. And I'll give an example. We had Nara launch in Milan, but it was out of stock. I don't know for how many long. It was something that we could not control, but we could say, you know, it's such a unique product that when it came out, a lot of people, 1 million of people ordered, so we ran out of it. But you will be the first on my list to communicate with and tell you that it came back. So you turn a bad situation into a way you control it. That's how you need to market. You can control your market. Now, what is marketing? Your marketing is the way you promote and sell your brand, the way you put yourself out there, the pictures you add in social media, the content that you add in social media or in your website, your pictures, your videos, your clothes again, what you show out there, what you sell, the way you position your brand. Now, you need, when you market your brand, you need to share your strong points and hide the ones that are not so strong. Each one of us has different strong points. And here comes the mirror. As humans, we spend a lot of time in front of the mirror in our life. Instead of spending time, how about investing time in front of the mirror? It's the only thing that we cannot lie to, either physically or mentally. We just see the truth in our mirror. So we know what our pluses are and what our minuses are. And when we are in front of the mirror, let's make the question to ourselves: would you follow the person you look on the mirror? So this is a crucial question for you to make before you proceed. And how to set the right expectations for your brand? I'll give some points. Anticipate the client's or your team member questions. We know some questions are common. how much it costs, if the product is natural, or if it's a pyramid, or how it works. All these questions are common. So put those answers before the person asks this question. The second one, set the tone. As I said before, find your strong points and put it out there and give this unique experience. Don't advertise your weak points, because there will be a fail. When someone contacts me and I'm advertising myself as a seven-figure earner and I'm not, the expectations and the disappointment, it's high. So you need to say the truth out there, who you are. And a third point, make improvements and own your strength. Which improvements I mean? Listen to your clients or to your team members. You need to listen to them, what they need. And if you can, give it to them. If you can't, as Oliver said, go to your upline. Be informed about what's new in your industry or what's new in your company. Things are changing rapidly and all the day. Research what other professionals in your industry are doing, are sharing, how they promote themselves, their brand, how they are doing their presentations. Invest on your personal development. This is a critical point. Learn new skills. I can say, I don't know English, so I cannot go globally. I speak only Greek. Or I can say, I'll go and learn English. It's up to you. It's your decision. Advance your existing skills. This is very important. And say less and do more. It's better to set the tone a little bit lower and do much more for your people rather to disappoint them. We are in the mouth-to-mouth business. And if our clients and our team members are happy, then the words of their mouth will come out from their heart immediately. They will gonna feel what they are saying. So create brand fans. This is very important. And this come out from the way you market your brand experience. And for closing, Malcolm, be honest, be real, and be the best version of you. That's from me. Thank you very much.
You're fabulous. Thank you very, very much for that, Andriani. Okay, my last guest, but not least, before I do a wind-up, is Andriani's partner. What can I say about this gentleman? And really, edification is difficult for a person who I consider to be family, really. What I love about this business is we make some really great friends, not just in the people that are watching this call, but people that we work with, because we're all on the same journey. We're all looking for the same things. We're looking for personal empowerment to change the way our life is, to change our mindset. We just love each other's company, and you can't meet anyone better as a trainer, as an individual, as a team leader than my next guest, Sapphire Elite, Rolandos, who's calling in from Cyprus, and he's going to talk about a subject I'm sure you all want to make notes about. His subject is how to get anyone to beg you for a presentation. I'm all ears, Rolandos. Fire away.
First of all, good evening, everybody. Malcolm, yet another amazing call. And Tammy did great, and Colleen did amazing, and Andriani did crazy great, all of them. But Oliver knocked it out of the park tonight as far as I'm concerned. Oliver's topic tonight is a home run. And it's how everybody can build a business. Kudos to Oliver, a young kid, came out of nowhere, became Ruby in no time. And he did exactly what he was saying. His story was that he had no story and he used somebody else's story. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. So before we get to getting people in front of the upline, before we create a relationship, before anything else. I have a story to tell you. There was a tribe of mice. They used to live in a house in the suburbs, and they were peacefully going on about their lives, going to work in the morning, getting cheese, bringing it home. Everybody was happy until one day, a big cat moved into the house. Emergency tribal council. What are we going to do? We're going to be lunch for the cat. What's going to happen? Everybody was in panic. And the older mouse, being wiser, says, what if we hang a bell around the cat's neck, and every time he comes close, we'll hear the bell and we run and hide. Everybody was clapping. Yes, yes, amazing, amazing solution. And then, disappointment. Who is going to hang the bell around the cat's neck? This is what we do in network marketing. Our job as sponsors is to hang the bell around the cat's neck and take away all the fears from the person that we're bringing into network marketing. And no point is more important than what I'm about to talk about, in my humble opinion. And that's when we understand that it's what we say and do that will determine how many appointments we get, and ultimately the size of our team, and by extent, the size of our bonus check, our commission check. So we've spoken before about the SMP formula. What is that? Show more people. That's all. SMP. Show more people. And the goal is to show as many people as possible, get them to look at the presentation. And how we get to that? We choose our words carefully. We have to accept that ultimately is what we say and do that people react to. Here's an example. I woke up to you and I say, Malcolm, it's your lucky day. I have 10 Armani vests and I'm gifting them to you. And they're just your size. You're smiling and you know I'm just telling a story. How would you react to me then? Or I woke up to you and I spilled coffee on you, or I punch you in the gut. How will you react to me then? So ultimately, it's what we say and do that people react to. And if we carefully use some trained words, and these are the teachings of the great giant of network marketing, Tom Schrader, also known as Big Al, not me. I am merely a student of his work. And we call them icebreakers. And most people think that icebreakers are how you begin a conversation. Not so. How you begin a conversation is actually called rapport. Icebreaker is the point, the critical, pivotal point where you transfer the conversation from general
to business.
Your business. So let's set some ground rules for a presentation. 4, and I would take a short note if I were you. Number 1, we only present to people before. Number 2, icebreakers that we use should be 100% rejection free, because that's what we fear most, isn't it? We are told no, and our self-confidence is shut down. When it's 100% rejection free, we've removed the fear, which is something we talked about a couple of weeks ago. Icebreaker, that's number 3, icebreakers should never be high pressure to the person we're speaking to, because that's what duplicates, and we have to be careful. And number 4, icebreakers must have a high probability of success. That being said, let's just talk about formula number 1. And I want you to really think about what happens in your brain as soon as I say what I'm about to say. Hey, Malcolm, I just found out you all just went into a brain freeze. You want to know right this second what I just found out. It's a program, it's a subconscious program that actually gets activated when you hear these words. I just found out. And if I've done a good job of doing my research before coming to the appointment with you, or before meeting you, or before going to the party, that will be the difference between you leaving a party with 10 leads and somebody else saying, nobody wanted to talk to me at this party. There was no one there. Nobody was interesting. This guy's too rich. This guy's too poor. And walking out of a party with no leads. So I just found out. And if I know you well, and I said to Colleen, for example, hey, Colleen, I just found out how you can double the number of people you're signing up in India just by using a simple Facebook trick. It's going to take 5 minutes to show you. If you ever want to know how, let me know. In the meantime, let's grab some pizza. This is important. I didn't wait for a yes, because that's the moment of death, when you're waiting for, yes, I'm interested, or no, I'm not. If you ever want to find out, I just found out solution to the problem, because I've identified the problem. And if you ever want to know, it's going to take me 5 minutes to show you how. In the meantime, let's order some pizza. So Colleen doesn't feel like she has to answer. There's no pressure. You're not hanging from Colleen's mouth, waiting for an answer and panicking, oh my God, what if she says no? Because next, if you have this fear, next time you simply won't ask the question. And you won't get a lead and you won't get an appointment. So that's the first icebreaker. I just found out solution to the problem. If you ever want to know how, it takes 5 minutes, let me know. In the meantime, please pass the salt if you're at the family dinner table, or in the meantime, pass me the wine. And change the conversation. You've put it out there. If somebody's interested, they'll come back to you. And if you've done a good job of solving their problem, this is what this business is all about, solving problems. We've said it time and time again. So that's the first formula. Second formula, icebreaker number 2. And Eric Worre says this a lot as well. Would it be okay if? Would it be okay if? And then add a problem that you know of. For example, somebody talks about their weight. Hey, Malcolm, would it be okay if I told you something that I just found out about losing those extra kilos? Or would it be okay if I asked you, what are you doing to lose those 10 kilos you were talking about? The reason I'm asking, I just found out. So would it be okay if the human brain, if you think about it, say I stop you on the street, would it be okay if I asked you for directions to the nearest mall? I'm not really asking you, I'm asking you if it would be okay. But the person says, yeah, sure, it's down the street, to the left. The human brain is programmed to say yes to the question, would it be okay if? So that's icebreaker formula number 2. And you can do this on the street, you can do this with a policeman, you can do this with anybody that you meet anywhere. Icebreaker formula number 3. Find large groups of negative people. I love negative people. Those people that, excuse me, guys. Everybody wants to avoid. I love them. I hug them. You know why? Because I just ask. They complain. And then you say, do you want to do something about that? Just let them complain. You're not asking for a presentation. You're not asking for anything. Excuse me, guys, I'm sorry. We've had this dust wave in Cyprus and it's killing everybody. So the negative people, just ask them, do you want to do something about that? And they can say yes, so just sign them up. Or just say, the reason I'm asking is because I just found out, see, you go back to formula number 1. And you solve their problem. So that's number 3. If they say no, just say, so what else bothers you? And just slide away, walk away. No rejection. You didn't ask for a presentation. All you said was, do you want to do something about it? Icebreaker formula number 4. Positive people. Take positive people and turn them into negative people. The weather is great. The sun is shining. I'm going outside. I love my life. I love my friends. I love my wine. And wow, amazing. Someone like you, I've always been fascinated to ask one question. I've always wanted to ask one question. What are your 2 biggest problems? And they may say, oh, I don't have any problems. And great. Tell them you're happy for them. Conversation goes on. No rejection. Or they can say, you can put them in a negative state of mind. They look away to the bottom right and they say, oh, you know, I've really been dealing with a lot of pain in my lower back from arthritis. And then you say, oh, what would you like to do about it? Or do you want to do something about it? See, you go back to formula number 3. If they say no, so what else bothers you? If they say yes, speak about reserve and its inflammation healing abilities, or not reserve, but actually resveratrol. Because resveratrol studies are published in medical journals, and all you're doing is using existing medical research and rehearsing it, just repeating it. So negative people, love them. Positive people, turn them into negative people, and then ask them what they want to do about their problem. Number 5, when you meet someone, the 3 things they ask: what's your name? Where are you from? And what do you do for a living? And make sure you ask this question. And I challenge you, was there ever one time that you asked someone, what do you do for a living? And they answered, and they did not reciprocate the question. They always, always do. And when they ask, you can say, well, you know how, and for example, we get all those bills in the mail every month. Well, I show people how to pay them without ever touching their salary. That's just one thing. Or somebody you meet has severe acne. Well, it's funny that you would mention it, because what I do is show people how to get rid of acne within 10 weeks. Now, this may be a little forward, and it's going to depend on you acquiring confidence as you go along. Or somebody's overweight, or somebody can't sleep. You had a little bit of a conversation and they can't sleep. Well, that's funny. I show people how to get 6 to 7 hours of great sleep every single night and wake up in the morning feeling like $1 million. And that's formula number 5. Why do we ask this question? Because it's a question of what do you do for a living? Because it is always reciprocated, and it's going to open a rejection-free conversation that will lead to a presentation. So, and then moving to formula number 6, and that's going to be our last one. We can give 100, but these are the 6 main ones that actually work every single time. There's a second way to answer, what do you do for a living? Instead of going directly to the problem. You can say, I show people, well, you know how we age? Well, we can let the years go by, but we don't have to age. And I show people how to stay younger longer. That's the second way. It sounds similar to number 5, but it's not, because you're solving a problem. In number 5, you're solving a personal problem. In number 6, you're taking something that applies to the general population. And if you're talking to 20, 30, 40 people, it's difficult to take each one and personalize number 5. So that's where you use number 6 for general population. So is it easy? after hearing this, to ask people for a presentation, trained words work. And a hint, they work better when you use them, not when you learn them. So I hope I was able to be of value to you. I love being on these calls, Malcolm. I love talking with you guys, and have a wonderful, wonderful night, day, wherever you are. And back to you.
Rolando, you know, you always give exceptional value. And I think anyone who comes on these calls must come on board, because every one of our speakers is fantastic. And I think the information that they've heard tonight really should help them and to motivate them. And as I wind my call up, there are certain things that stay in your mind at the end of every call. And I think if we go back, Tammy talked about relationships. My best friends, people that I consider to be my lifelong best friends, I've met through this business. And I'm so happy. And I never would have met them without this business. I'd never have had the chance ever in my lifetime to meet up with them. There's several of them on the call today. Secondly, we've heard about, I think, a very important thing that I think we should really, really concentrate on. In fact, I'm so fired up about it, because I talk about it, Colleen, but never in the way that you made it so crystal clear. I always tell people, you know, each person that I talk to is worth to me a minimum of 0 to a maximum of 15,000 per month. And that's because I try and explain to them for the first level, blah, blah, blah. But what you've just said is amazing, that every person that I talk to is holding a ticket, which is what I teach people in the first place. But look at the lottery numbers. Never mind who they bring and who they bring 5 levels down, because that's really hard to explain to people. But I can bring someone to my business and they can earn me $8,400 a year extra on top of what I earn right now. What a great pay rise that will be. Or I can find people who work with me and I can earn $17,200 a year just for sharing this business with them. Every year I can make $17,200. And if I have some good people that I talk to enough people, Bill Britt once said that he talked to, I think, 1,500 people over a period of, I think, 5 years, and 4 of them made him a millionaire. What if you found one emerald? At the worst, it's $42,000 per year. That's more than any pension that I know of. In England, they pay $6,000 pension, but if you're an illegal refugee or something that's come on the back of the bus, they give you $29,000, but that's another story. And as a diamond, $84,000 per year, just to go out and talk to someone. And as I finish my call off, this is not pie in the sky stuff. Lyndon Burnoff spoke to one person 7 or 8 years ago who has built a team underneath him of 100,000 people plus. One person. You work out in your mind, a generation-wise, as a double diamond, he must be earning out of that alone $250,000 per month, way above that. What, for having a conversation with somebody? And really what I want to tell you as I finish my call off is I want you to write it down. Big Al. Just go on YouTube. I'm a great fan of his. I've met him 3 times. I've been to 2 of his trainings, and I know that Rolando, I love him. He's a very funny, short little guy. He's brilliant, but you should go and check him out. His name is Big Al. So as we finish my call off, every single person that's come on has given you some value tonight. I'd like to thank them personally. They are really great people. And I'm really a bit sick. I'm not going to Cyprus because I really built myself up. I've got an eye operation on the 21st, so I'm going to be out of service for a little while. Thank you all for joining us. I hope you've all enjoyed the call. I've had several people who joined us from Turkey. I can see Jordan, my brother from Jordan. Lots and lots of people have joined us. These calls are important. You know, some people say, oh, well, they go on very long. That's your mindset. It's called stinking. That's your problem, not my problem. I'm happy if 1 or 2 people come on this call and they say to me, Malcolm, fabulous. You've given me a piece of information, or I got something from Rolando, I got something from Tammy, I got something from Colleen, I got something from Oliver. I think it's completely well worthwhile. Andriani and everybody else in this call. So the person, Mohammed, is called Big Al, B-I-G-A-L. Just go and look for him on YouTube. We've got him actually in our training. If you look on some of the training material that I've got on some of our pages. Thank you all for joining us. It's been a great call. I'm really looking forward now to having a cup of coffee and looking forward to making a few phone calls. Thank you for joining us. Join us on our call next week. Just very quickly as I say this, because I have to mention to give you a taste for next week. The team and I, the leadership in this organization, have been talking quite a bit before this call. And what we'd like to do, all of us, is we're going to make a real effort that next week's call and the week after, we're going to focus on lead generation online. I think every person in every team needs to be on those calls. We're going to cover Facebook and Google and lots of different ideas. And I think it's important that we do that, because this business is about exposure, talking to everybody that we can about this business and product around the world. Thank you for joining us. My name is Malcolm Peters. Looking forward to seeing you on next week's call. Same time, same place, 7 o'clock UK time. Have a fantastic week. Have a great holiday if you're in the UK. It's bank holiday tomorrow. Good night, everybody.